Hey, what's going on, guys? Living here. So today, um, Dice had their EA Play at E3, and they were able to reveal some stuff for Battlefield. So I thought if you guys hadn't seen it yet, or maybe you guys just wanted to have a brief run through on it and not check out the whole stream thing they did on it, that I would just give you guys a really quick run through on what they showed. And yeah, just get started into it, guys. So basically, what they just showed is the new night map that they're going to be coming out, that's going to be released in June of this month, which is called Novell Nights. So on the stream, what they showed during the EA Play announcement was they played a map of or a game mode of Conquest. So that's the map that we got, or the game mode we got to kind of watch us get played out through. And they're changing up a little bit of some stuff with the at least the game mode Conquest for this map specifically. What they said they were going to do was, at the very beginning of the game, they're going to have the two closest capture points to your team are all going to be capped. So it's a pretty large map. So there's six capture points. So for one side of the team, they're going to have A and B's are going to be capped for you, and for the other side, the other team's going to have F and E already capped. So it's going to make C and D the only neutral flags at the time at the very beginning start of the game. So it's going to bring in everyone at the very beginning of the game to the very centric focused part, right there in the middle, to try to cap those two neutral flags at the very beginning. Of course, after that point, you can go up and, the rest of your team can go around and try to cap, the other team's flags and at the very start of the game that were already capped for the other team. But yeah, they seem to be kind of playing out this idea. They kind of alluded to the fact that this is a possibility that they might introduce this into other maps as well. So this was of course just for Conquest. Obviously these things would play out very differently under other game modes, but this is the one that they were able to show us at the very beginning of the game. So I find it's pretty interesting, especially you'll be able to see in the little clips I'm showing you here off of what they streamed, which is the fact that in between C and D, you're going to see the Elite class, the Trench Raider kit spawning right there. So it's in between those two neutral flag points, so it's going to be much more of a push to that area. And so that's going to be interesting how that plays out. If you want to know what the Elite classes that are going to be on there, from what I saw on the video, I saw the Trench Raider class, and I also saw the Flame Trooper class. I didn't see exactly where it was able to spawn at, which is kind of interesting because you see that the Trench Raider is placed right in between the two neutral flag zones, but it maybe could have been off to the side somewhere else where I can't see between those two neutral flag zones. So, but basically from what I was able to tell, it seems like the only Elite classes that are going to be available on that are going to be the Trench Raider kit and the Flame Trooper kit, which is pretty interesting, especially because this whole map is trying to be as much centralized around being around the trenches and whatnot, and they really are trying to push that. So if anything, would probably be the more ideal Elite classes for that would probably be the Flame Trooper and the Trench Raider kit, which was going to make a kind of interesting dynamic between those two Elite classes if they end up going up against each other. So yeah, basically, with what goes on with the rest of the map, with vehicle wise and weapon wise, is there are only going to be one tanks for each team. So each team's only going to be able to use one tank. Like they were trying to emphasize again, this is centralized around being around the trenches, so they don't want to have tanks have so much in the game at all, or much of vehicles at all, to the point where they're not even have any planes into the game at all either. So it's just going to be really centralized around tanks, or not around tanks, around trenches, excuse me. And for it being such a large map as well too, it's going to be kind of interesting as well. There are 6 capture points like I had alluded to before. So it's much larger than like the other maps that we were having on the They Shall Not Pass maps, such as Verdun Heights or Fort de Vaux, where they were very much those close, no vehicle type of maps, but they were only the 5 capture points. So we have that one extra capture point here. It's gonna make it a bit of a larger map, so it's gonna be kind of interesting to play that out with. They didn't make any mention towards there being a behemoth on the map. But just by the looks of it, you can obviously tell that with it such being around the trenches, that obviously there's no tracks for the train to run through, and there's no water around either for the dreadnought. The fact as well too that because there's not going to be any planes, there's going to be no AA guns probably on the map, so I doubt that the Zeppelin's going to be there as well. And just the fact that it's on the trenches as well, I can't imagine. I mean, they do have the tanks on there, so there could possibly be maybe the Char they might make it on there, but I could see probably more of them leaning on the fact of doing the elite classes as the Behemoth, like how they do on Fort de Vaux. When your team's falling behind, they'll give you elite classes as your Behemoth. So you'll see people running around with maybe the Sentry kits and more Flame Troopers and another Trench Raider kit. So that's basically what I could see probably leaning towards too. Again, they didn't show it in the video, so don't quote me on that and see if that's gonna eventually play out. But we'll find out coming up here at the end of June here. And basically, with that said, as well, we're going to see cavalry classes as well. I did see people running around. They did have a cavalry classes, so they did make note towards that. But again, just one tank. And again, that's just kind of how they want to keep the playstyle with it. Very much centric on the trenches and keep it mainly focused onto that. So moving on to the aesthetics of the map. They did say they wanted to kind of play with the lighting a little bit, which I found pretty interesting. They wanted to kind of emphasize the different sides and give them their own kind of unique lighting. So if you're playing on the German side, you're going to find more of an electrical side of lighting. So what that means is you're going to see more like light bulbs and things like that to light up the map. While on the French side, you can find more like a natural light that's going to be there, such as like fire and wood burning on the ground and things like that to give its light. So I found that kind of interesting touch. I kind of wanted to point that out. Just how they're going to play with that. They seem very sensitive on the fact they wanted to find a good balance between still having it a night map, but being able to still see people while playing. So they very much stressed kind of that they were very much looking for that balance. So you can kind of get a kind of feel from it how you're looking at the video right now to kind of see how that'll play out. So that was just kind of interesting to note out how they said that they were going to play with the lighting there. They did say that this was a more polished version of it of the map. From what it has been from the CTE version, so it seems like they're leaning on to at least this is how it's going to be played out when we see it come up here in June. So yeah, that's basically it there, guys. Just kind of want to give you guys a brief run through on that just in case you missed it. They did say it's going to come with the additional maps to the They Shall Not Pass map, so I'm assuming that this is probably going to be for only people who bought the They Shall Not Pass DLC. Now, of course, they're probably going to keep doing the free-to-play for friends. So, basically, I've made mentions before in my other videos. You can feel free. I'm on Xbox, so you can add me if you don't have a friend that has maybe the They Shall Not Pass map, or maybe they're not on all the time, and so you just want to try these maps out, or if you want to try out maybe the other maps until this one map comes out. You can always add me. I do think today was the last day they're ending they were doing the free friends play. Was ending today on EA Play. I think that was the last day. So I'm sure they'll probably redo it, revamp it up again when this map comes out. So feel free to add me. My gamer tag is Livin. It's spelled LIV1N. So instead of the last I being an I, it's a 1. So hopefully don't get that confused. If not, if I confuse it, I'll just go watch some of my old videos. You'll see my gamer tag there on the bottom of the screen. But yeah, guys, that's basically it. Just wanted to show you guys that, give you guys a little bit of a run through on that. Feel free to add me again. Like I said, I do feel like if I remember right, EA, the friends thing ended, I think probably today, or it's gonna end this weekend or something along the lines of whenever EA Play ends. And I won't be surprised if they probably don't redo it up again when the new map comes out. So basically, that's it again, guys, and I will catch you guys again later. Peace.